Hello everyone and welcome to another PhoneArena style battery drain test, this time with the brand new iPhone SE 2020 edition. Apple's new SE might well stand for small edition these days, and it also comes with a very tiny battery as well, just 1821 mAh. Can Apple pull out a battery life miracle out of such a small battery? Well, that's exactly what we're about to find out, and you can see lined up and ready to go 5 phones for this test. The iPhone SE is first from the left, next we have the iPhone 11, next comes the iPhone XR, and then we have two very popular and now also very affordable Galaxy S10 series phones, the regular S10 and then the super compact Galaxy S10e. All of them have a much larger battery size than the iPhone SE, so it will be a David against Goliath situation, but we have not one, but 4 Goliath of phones against the SE. Let's waste no time then and get started with one thing that most of us do for hours on our phones: watch videos. In this test, we use YouTube to stream videos without interruption and measure which phone will die first. The test that you see on your screen is a placeholder run and not the actual test run, and the reason being that A, it takes very long hours, and B, we usually run it a couple of times to get a more reliable average score, and that's what you're seeing. With this important disclaimer in mind, let's get going, and you can already see what the test looks like with videos playing back right now in fast motion. And if you have been following our battery tests in the past, you probably already know that iPhones in general are not great for YouTube video streaming. And the iPhone SE proves that this hasn't changed one bit, as it is the first phone to die on this test with a score of just 4 hours and 45 minutes. That is the lowest score we have seen on this test in the last couple of years. And what happens when you play videos on the SE is that the battery just drops by a percentage point about every 3 minutes or less. All the other phones are still going, and it takes 1 more hour until the next phone on this list bites the dust, and that one is the iPhone XR with a score of 5 hours and 15 minutes. Much better than the SE, but still far from great. The 3 phones left still have some juice left in the tank, so we have to wait more than 1 additional hour until the next phone battery dies, and that phone is the iPhone 11 with a score of 7 hours and 13 minutes. Despite the two Galaxies being much older phones, they still last a long time. The Galaxy S10 outlasts the iPhone 11 by some 5 minutes on this test. Finally, the winner in our YouTube test is the small but very resilient Galaxy S10e. His battery lasts 7 hours and 50 minutes, a great showing for Samsung and for such a compact device. And you can quickly take a look at the scores once again in this chart. Feel free to pause it and take a better look because it's time to move on to the next test. What you see on your screens right now is our browsing test. We use the Chrome browser on Android phones and Safari on iPhones, and all the phones are running the same script that cycles through web pages and scrolls up and down. And it's a great way to see how the phones perform without much stress, and all of them last much longer on this test. Now we run it a couple of times to ensure correct results and show you the average score. So once again, you're not seeing the actual test run but a placeholder, and that's why the top parts of the phones are blurred. In fact, the first one to have its battery drained is the Galaxy S10 here, which scores 8 hours and 9 minutes, which is not all that great. All other phones still keep on going, but an hour after the S10, we're seeing that the brand new iPhone SE also bites the dust with a final score of 9 hours and 5 minutes. So that's the second test where the iPhone SE battery life is not great, and that's not exactly surprising, but it's interesting nonetheless. Next up, the Galaxy S10e is the next phone to have its battery drained at the 9 hour and 26 minute mark. What's interesting is that the two 6.1-inch iPhones still keep on going, and while they disappointed us with the YouTube test, they're way ahead of the others on the browsing test. The iPhone XR finishes the test with a score of 11 hours and 8 minutes, a great showing. And the iPhone 11 gets the win with an even bigger score of 11 hours and 25 minutes. This test really illustrates how for everyday light use, these iPhones are really outstanding performers, and even the iPhone SE is not all that bad on this test. Finally, we have our 3D gaming test. This one is great because it shows something different. It uses the GPU a lot, while on other tests you have mostly the CPU firing. If you play games on your phone, this test is very important to you. Unfortunately, the brand new iPhone SE is once again the first one to die on this test, not even reaching 5 hours of gaming. Keep in mind that we're running the test at low settings, and in real life with more intense gaming like PUBG or Call of Duty, its battery will be dead much faster. The tiny SE is an absolute disappointment for gamers. It's great having the fastest chip on the market, but of what use is it if it drains the battery so quickly? The next phone to die on this test is the Galaxy S10, which lasted 5 hours and 35 minutes. Not a great showing either, but not quite as bad as the iPhone SE. And the other two finished with much better scores. The Galaxy S10e lasts 6 hours and 35 minutes of playtime. And then the iPhone 11 remains the winner, who will get the chicken dinner with a score of 7 hours and 37 minutes. We had a technical difficulty with the iPhone XR for the 3D gaming test, and we had to skip it for this test. And now is a good time to once again recap all of the scores and how the phones did in each one of them. The big winner here is unsurprisingly the iPhone 11. It's the most expensive phone of the bunch, and its battery lasts a long time for pretty much everything except for watching videos. Now if you do a lot of that, you will be better off with a Samsung phone, as the Galaxies both perform excellently in this regard. Now we were surprised with how long the battery on the tiny Galaxy S10e lasted, and if you really want a small phone with great battery life, you should know that you will get much better battery life on the S10e than on the iPhone SE. And that brand new SE, as we were talking about it, as powerful as it is, as great a camera as it has, its battery life is a big disappointment, and we cannot recommend it for people who want their phone to last a long time. Still, if you only use your phone lightly, don't play games and don't watch many videos, you'll be absolutely fine with the SE. It will last you about a day, but it's the heavy users that will have a hard time with it. And that wraps up our battery drain test with the brand new iPhone SE and its rivals. Are you surprised with the results? Honestly, I was expecting more from Apple. Even a slightly bigger battery would have made the iPhone SE almost irresistible, but Apple just reused the old chassis with the old battery of the iPhone 8 and just called it a day. Whatever it is, let me know which of these phones would you go for. Do you have a favorite? I'm looking forward to your comments. Let me know what you want to see from us next. Likes are hugely appreciated as battery tests really take a very long while, and subscribe if you feel extra awesome. My name is Vic, this is PhoneArena, stay safe and healthy, and I will see you in the next one.